Today I'm going to take you for a ride on a 2017 Yamaha FZ-07. The Yamaha FZ-07 is a mid-sized naked sport bike that's popular with many riders and motovloggers. Its 689cc parallel twin engine pumps 67 horsepower and 46 pound-feet of torque through a 6-speed transmission that moves its 400 pounds along quite nicely. I've heard and seen a lot of videos about the FZ-07, and when a Yamaha demo day came to motorcycles in Manchester, New Hampshire, I decided to give this particular FZ-07 a try for myself. This is a bit different than I'm used to. Ooh, pretty. Yamaha FZ-07. This is totally different from the UJMs and the cruisers I'm used to, and I've ridden pretty much my whole riding career. Doesn't sound as good as Jake's, 100% stock of course. Okay, touchy clutch, oof. Much more upright position than I'm used to. Everything's a lot touchier than I'm used to. Yep, brakes, front brake especially is touchy. Some of the guys on Discord warned me about that. They are correct. But so far, just putting through traffic for 100 yards. It's pretty easy to ride. All the controls are light. Like I say, the brake is touchy, the clutch is very light as well. I could flat foot this thing too, which is nice. So far I haven't gotten it over 20 miles an hour, but it's very manageable in city riding. I can already see this is a good all-rounder. I can't hear the stock exhaust, unfortunately. Whoa! Hope the camera got that. The riding position is a little more sporty than a standard, like my old UJMs. I'm hunched a little more forward, my feet are a little further back, but it's perfectly comfortable. I don't have any problem finding the pegs or anything. And there's not too much weight on my arms either. I'm seriously not used to having like nothing in front of me. I'm used to having half a bike ahead of me on a cruiser. Where here, I have to look way down just to see my speed. Alright, we're going to take it on the highway. Oh yeah, this is good. No problem keeping up or catching up or anything. Ooh, nice through the corners. Just took that 70. Obviously no issue at highway speeds. I can definitely understand the appeal of this bike. Like I said, it's a good all-rounder. Doesn't have gobs of power, but it definitely has plenty. No problem with that. It's like a slightly more sporty version of a standard. Like the UJMs I used to ride, but definitely more modern and a little more sporty without being a sport bike. Even in 6th gear, this thing's got plenty of grunt. Don't have to worry about it. I prefer to avoid highways personally, but they have their uses. I think I'm more comfortable on my shadow on the highway, but that's not what this bike is really designed for anyway. But it does it just fine, no complaints at all. Very light throttle too. I don't feel like I'd need a throttle rocker on this thing, which is nice. The FZ-07 is definitely not a sport bike, but I've honestly never ridden anything this sporty before. And it's fun, I can understand the appeal, for sure. I'd say this is a pretty good rendition of a modern universal Japanese motorcycle. It's definitely not a UJM, but yeah, it's a slightly sportier than standard riding position. It's got plenty of performance, good power, good handling, good brakes. Suspension's on the sportier, stiffer side. I know everybody is telling me to do a wheelie, but they were very clear in the ride. They don't want us doing shenanigans. I have no doubt I could easily pull a wheelie with this. Very agile for swerving around potholes. Very important skill in Massachusetts. Would it be a good first bike? I'm not so sure. It has more performance than I would trust myself with as a brand new rider. But it is a good bike. It's something I could totally see you upgrading to after you start off on a 250. This would be a very good second bike for sure. Despite the riding position being a little on the sporty side, I'm perfectly comfortable on it. I don't feel hunched over like I would on a sport bike. I can definitely see taking this out for a day in the twisties. Easy to handle at low speeds too. That's mostly because it's so light. My Shadow definitely would not have handled that as well. Looks like we're taking a quick pause here for the rest of the group to catch up. We'll be lost at the light. I'm 6 feet tall with a 32-inch inseam, and I am flat-footing this thing. So it's a good bike for someone my size. You could be a fair bit smaller than me and handle this just fine too. For someone bigger or taller than me, well, we'll see how the FZ-09 feels, but I think you might want something a little larger. I'm not cramped, but I can definitely see how I would be if I was a larger person. But again, very agile. No problem making these maneuvers in the city. It's very light, very flickable. Of course, keep in mind, I'm used to a 600-pound cruiser, so of course it's going to feel light and flickable compared to that. Whoa! There we go. And that wasn't full throttle either. This thing's still got plenty left that I'm not using. It's easy to stand up over the bumps too, or at least levitate your butt off the seat. And we're back. So, final thoughts on the FZ-07. I totally understand why people like these. It's a good fun bike. Very light, very flickable, quite fun. Would I get one for myself? Probably not, but only because it's not really the style of bike I've decided I prefer. It is a very good bike. I have definitely enjoyed my time on it.
Big shout out to Motorcycles of Manchester, New Hampshire for giving me the opportunity to try the FZ-07. But the question remains, how does it compare to its big brother, the FZ-09? Tune in next time when I ride the FZ-09 to find out.